Shalom, shalom, Israel. It's Brother Wa'awabon coming at you with a cold cut. First and foremost, I want to give all honor and glory to Yahweh by Hashem Mashiach Wamalak Yahweh Shai. And the topic of this cold cut is going to be accountability and, taking heed to yourself, in these last days. Really examining yourself, in these last days. I'm going to start it off with Deuteronomy chapter 4 and verse 9. Only take heed to thyself. Keep thy soul diligently, lest thou forget the things. Lest thou forget the things which thine eyes have seen, and lest they depart from thy heart all the days of thy life. But teach them to thy sons and thy sons' sons. So you gotta constantly, examine yourself every day in this thing, man. Because it's easy to slip up and mess up, man, and fall down and forget, man. You gotta stay in these scriptures, man. Because if you don't stay in these scriptures, man, you start forgetting. Next thing you know, brothers is talking about when is the Sabbath. Next thing you know, brothers talking about can we cook on the Sabbath. That's because you're not staying in the scriptures. That's the only way you'll forget something like that, man. You gotta constantly, every day, take heed to yourself, man. I see a lot in Israel, a lot of Israelites like playing the blame game, man. We can't play the blame game out here, man. Everything that you do, you gotta hold yourself accountable for that. I got another precept. Salaki. It's the book of Philippians, chapter 2 and verse number 12. Wherefore, my beloved, as ye have always obeyed, not as in my presence only, but now much more in my absence, work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. See, brothers, we gotta work out our own salvation, man. It's good to have the brothers, that go out on the highways and byways and teach, that make cold cuts. That's good. That's all fine and dandy, and that's lovely. But we all know it's going to come to a time where brothers ain't going to be around making cold cuts. Brothers not going to be standing outside in the rain, hell, sleet, trying to compel brothers and sisters to come in. It's not going to happen. That day is coming amongst us where that famine is coming, man. That famine of the Lord, that is talking about in Amos, the 8th chapter. So while we're here right now, we gotta start paying attention to what we're doing every day. Whether it's studying, fasting, reading, praying, whatever it is, we need to start magnifying it and doing it more abundantly. I know myself, I can do all four of those more abundantly every day. There ain't one thing that I can think of that I don't need to do more. I need to study more. I need to fast more. I need to pray more. All of that, everything, We got another precept, Salakia. Romans. The book of Romans, chapter 14 and verse number 12. So then every one of us shall give account of himself to God. So in those last days, we're going to have to give an account of ourselves to the Lord, man. It's going to be you and the Lord. When the Lord set out and hold up a plan of a sketch and documentation of all of my sins, it ain't going to be me and all the brothers with me. And it's like, oh, this is everything he did. And that falls on all of y'all too. You're going to have to be accounted for your own sins. You're going to have to see the Lord face to face, man, with fear and trembling, man. It's going to be a scary time. So let me get another precept on that. It's the book of Matthew. Salakia. Chapter 12 and verse 36. But I say unto you that every idle word that man shall speak, they shall give account therefore in the day of judgment. For by the words thou shalt be justified, and by the words thou shalt be condemned. So every word that comes out of our mouths, man, the Lord is saying that we're going to have to give an account for that. You know, we're going to be put on trial. Everything that we ever said, things that we don't forgot we said, you know, things you don't even remember saying. How many people, you know, you probably offended and don't even remember that you offended, you know? All of that stuff we're going to have to give an account for, you know, on that day of judgment. So there's no better time than now, while you're still alive, while you're still breathing and kicking, than to start examining yourself, man. Offend less every day, you know? And Lord willing, the Lord forgive us for those sins, man. Lord willing, that's all we can do is fast, pray, man. Fast and pray and hope that the Lord forgives us, man. You know? Bring out another precept. This is 1 John. Salakia. Bear with me, Israel. 1 John real quick. 1 John chapter 2, right? And I'm going to start at... I'm going to start at verse 1. No, I'm going to start at verse 1. My little children, these things write I unto you, that ye sin not, right? And we know according to I could just jump right over to it. 1 John chapter 3 and verse 4. Whosoever committeth sin transgresseth also the law, for sin is transgression of the law, right? So, you know, we know that sin is breaking the law, right? And in 1 John chapter 2, verse 1, it reads, my little children, these things write I unto you, that ye sin not, right? And if any man sin, we have an advocate with the Father, and that is the Hamashiach Yahushua, the righteous. So we fall short in this thing. Everybody falls short. Everybody makes mistakes. You know, that's Proverbs 24 and 16. You know, a just man falleth 7 times, but the wicked will fall into mischief. Paraphrasing. I don't want to butcher that scripture, but it's Proverbs 24 and 16. So we know we're going to fall, right? But that's why we have the Mashiach Yahushua. You know, we just don't want to abuse our grace, you know? So brothers know, man, when you fall down, you got to pick yourself back up. But you also got to examine yourself, man. You got to examine yourself when doing so, you know? Take a notepad, a notebook, write down what it was you did, pray for it, fast on it, you know? Got another precept. My last precept. It's going to be a quick little cold cut right here on examining yourself. Nothing too crazy. This is Galatians chapter 6 and verse 1. Brethren, if a man be overtaken in fault, ye which are spiritual, restore such a one in the spirit of meekness, considering thyself, lest thou also be tempted. So that goes into being your brother's keeper. You know? When you go off, you got to correct your brothers, man. You know, brothers get on each other, man. We all of us, all brothers get on each other, man. Brothers get on me. If I see a brother going off, I got to get on him. That's just the way it goes. It's just a cycle, man. Because we are reliable for each other, you know. And we got to do that. Let me read it again. Brethren, if a man be overtaken in fault, right? This is Galatians 6 and verse 1. Brethren, if a man be overtaken in fault, ye which are spiritual, restore such a one in the spirit of meekness. So you got to restore that brother, but you got to restore that brother in the spirit of meekness, right? We got to be meek out here, man. You know, we can't think of ourselves too high, too mighty, you know, think ourselves above the next man. You know, we got to help restore our brothers in meekness, man. Just like, you know, the same goes for me. Brothers help me, restore me in meekness, you know. That's what we got to do. Considering thyself, lest thou also be tempted. Bear ye one another's burdens, and so fulfill the law of Yahushua. For if a man think himself to be something when he is nothing, he deceiveth himself. But let every man prove his own work, and then shall he have rejoicing in himself alone, not in another. For every man shall bear his own burden. You see that? So every man is going to bear his own burden at the end of the day. Multiple scriptures throughout this Bible. You can go through the Bible, or you can go through the Bible. We could read it for 3 hours. Talks about you being accountable for yourself, bearing your own burden, every idle word, So that's what's coming, Israel. And this is a quick little cold cut, on accountability. I hope this reached and helped somebody, whether it's one person, shoot, if it's none, I hope the precepts is good enough, because we got to start really, really holding ourselves accountable in these last days, because the time is ticking, So with that, I'm going to give all honor and glory to Yahweh by Shema Mashiach, Wamalak Yahweh Shad, and Shalom, Israel.